Hello everybody, and this is BSJ, but I think you might have already known that. But hopefully, what I'm about to tell you is something you may have not have thought about before, or perhaps not known. BSJ, that was very smooth, thank you. So going into this video is an educational tidbit about laning.
Banana slam jam.
So a lot of times in Dota, when by a lot of times I mean pretty much every single game, you have to assess your lane matchup at level 1. So we talk a lot about itemization, like how much sustain do you need? Do you need a quelling blade? Do you need some stat items? Do you go ring a regen? Every patch, it's a little bit different. Every meta is a bit different. But nonetheless, your starting items are saying, how does my hero fare against that hero, 1v1 or 2v2, level 1? And it's all about asking yourself what the hero matchup is like level 1. But then we have to reconsider what that matchup is like level 5, level 6. And that's approximately what starts happening around the 5-minute mark, 4-minute mark. And that's when items become even more important. Because at that point, you have, instead of 600 gold worth of items, everyone's got about 2,000 gold worth of items. So everyone spending their money the exact same is really, or everyone having the same amount of money to spend, and some people spending it better than others, is really important at this stage. So what I'm bringing up to you guys, and the why it's such a perfect example, is because my CM's been feeding. I'm not complaining. My CS ain't that great. CM's been feeding. She has 2 deaths in the first 4.5 minutes. And Mars is actually beating me in net worth at 4.5 minutes into the game. So we're going to talk about this matchup specifically. If you're wondering about Spectre as a hero, please check out my Spectre hero guide. I go in depth about basically conceptualizing the hero. But in this case, the way Spectre works in lane is that she doesn't really kill you, right? Does Spectre kill you? Or if like you're an off laner, you're a 4 position, are you scared of dying to a Spectre? The answer is no. But what she does is she trades really well. The more points she puts in dispersion, she's literally doing damage to you as you're doing damage to her. And so not only is she going to be able to hit you back, she's going to be able to dagger slow you, all that kind of stuff, but every single time you hit her, you're going to take damage. So then you have to think about the Mars matchup, right? What does he really do? Mars basically is going to be spamming his W in order to get last hits. He's going to do it for harass. And then he's going to try to basically kill you when you're like half health or less. Isn't that what Mars does? Most of the time his combo, especially before arena, isn't really enough damage to kill any carry full to 0, but if he's worn you down, then you could be burstable if you're sitting at like 400 or 500 HP. So what's the name of this lane? Now that I speak that out loud to you, and now that you think about it. What is the name of this lane? What items should both heroes buy in order to play the lane? Simple, right? Regen, as well as just sustain in general. So for Mars, he's going to be casting spells left and right. And in order to actually lane, he will need mana. Against CM Spectre, I wouldn't really argue Wand is going to be enough to give him the mana he needs. He could go like double Bracer, Wand, and Mangoes, and that's an option. But since he's against CM, that's going to be a lot of overall harass damage he's going to be taking. And he's also going to be taking a lot of damage from Spectre. So he has to gauge whether or not 2 Bracers is like enough health sustain to actually fight back in lane. But the point is, he's going to need mana, and he's also going to need health sustain. When you think about it out loud, it's super fucking obvious. You need health sustain. Like, how obvious is that, right? So here's the deal. I'm dealing with Mars, who predominantly does physical damage. Wind Ranger, even though she has power shot, she predominantly deals physical damage as well, because most of her damage is right-clicking. And then I'm dealing with a mid-Storm Spirit. So I'm thinking regen, but I also need to be like topped off on health because the arena combo plus Storm is a lot of damage that I can't really dodge, right? I can't really avoid it. So that's something I'm asking myself at the 5-minute mark. Not only am I thinking about my lane, but also who might come to my lane, which would be Storm Spirit. So my items, if I'm predominantly dealing with physical damage and I'm worried about Storm Spirit, may need a little bit of extra health, what do you think my items are? Let's think to yourself for a second. What do you think I'm going to build with my first 2,000 gold? Think to yourself, what would you build? Answer, Wraithband for a little bit of armor and trading. Ring of Tarrasque as my regen item, because I said I need that extra little bit of health. And then just a wand. Does move speed really help me much against these heroes? They're going to click me if they want. Can't really do much, right? And then if Storm goes on me, it doesn't matter if I have boots or not. So in this case, just go regen items. A little bit of mana, got myself a mango, one wand so that I can have an extra few daggers, and I'm just going to sit there chilling and regenning. On the other hand, Mars, who's going to have health and mana issues, what items do you think he should have as his, like, main items? I would argue it's either Double Brace or Wand, like we said, or to just go like Phase Boots Bottle. Those are like the two choices, because he's going to have health and mana issues. What does he go? First item, Soul Ring. So every time he Soul Rings and hits me with spells, he's not only doing 180 damage to himself with a Soul Ring, but he's also literally doing damage to himself because of me. My hero will literally do damage to him by him doing damage to me. So what the point of this is this lane is a perfect example of one player's items being so much better than the opponent that even though the lane was completely even, actually slightly in his favor at the 4.5 minute mark. Let's see what happens.
Killing spree.
He already dies. He's still ahead by 200 in net worth despite dying. Suddenly, I'm almost level 6 while he's only level 4. He's trading with me. I don't really care. He's going on me and taking damage, and he's actually soul ringing in the middle of fights. Do you think that 180 health from soul ring mattered right there? He's level 5 when I'm level 6. And suddenly, a lane that seemed in his favor. He dies when he's half health to me and CM. And then he dies again, soul ringing in the middle of a fight. And he barely died. This may seem like such a nitpicky thing to do. But if you ask yourself exactly how the matchup between Mars and Spectre is going to go, I have to believe you'll agree with me that my items make total sense to you. I'm no perfect human being here. I'm not trying to, jack myself off here. But just conceptually thinking what Mars is going to do to you in lane and what you're trying to avoid happening that could go wrong, these items make a lot of sense. While on the other hand, if I'm Mars, every time I hit Spectre, I'm taking like 100 damage from Dispersion if I do like 300 to her, 400 to her. This item just makes no sense. Where does his health come from? Where does he get health? Every time he soul rings, how is he getting it back? Tangos? Salves? And it's not the fact that not only is he doing damage to himself, that health that he won't get back, but like he's going to take damage. He's against a CM, long-range nukes. He's against a Spectre who can just click him back. And this is something that you can work on, is what do the players' skills on their heroes do as they gain levels? So Spectre becomes more and more of a harassing hero, right? She becomes more and more about the sustain battle and being able to boot you out of lane, because she eventually just walks at you, and even though it's not that much damage, you can't really fight back because she's out-sustained you. It's something where a war of attrition over time, Spectre will take over the lane. So now you say you're dealing with like Slark-type carry, an Ursa-type carry. What are we thinking? Are you going to get harassed a lot? Are you going to take a lot of sustained damage? The answer is no, right? Because those heroes are more about killing you, all-inning you. So in that case, you might itemize like move speed. Or you might even itemize Soul Ring because you just want to cast your spells more often, but you're not really going to take any damage from the opponent laner. So this is something where if my hero is more of like a kill hero, or he was in more of like a he just needs to cast his spells, but I don't do much damage to him kind of lane, then this could be a really good item to go Soul Ring first item. But when you think about the way Spectre works, it just doesn't add up. And it's a perfect example where this lane should just go way better for him. They literally fed off my Crystal Maiden for the first 4 or 5 minutes of the game. And he turns his items into ineffectiveness. And that's exactly why instead of being down by 200, 300, 400 net worth on Spectre, maybe losing slightly in levels, he instead dies. And now even though he's only down by 300 net worth, he's literally down by a level and a half. And that adds up a lot. And I think if he had gotten level 6 before me this game would have been unrecognizably difficult because we were losing top and I had a Faceless Void mid. So I just want to show you guys a little bit about how items, even at the smallest point in the game, the beginning 5 minutes laning stage, how important these items can be. A lot of people ask, how many Wraith Bands do you buy? Do I buy boots? how many items do I buy before Battle Fury? You have to consider every stage of the game. At the 5-minute mark, the 10-minute mark, the 15-minute mark, if you leave yourself vulnerable or exposed or weak at any moment in the game, if the opponent is good, they will have itemized properly and be able to punish you for it. So just something to think about. Hope this gave you an important lesson that you can apply to hopefully other matchups. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, YouTube thing. Thank you. Bye.